welcome back to the channel. I don't know if I'm actually gonna use this as an intro. Don't really know why I say that sometimes, because if I cut you out, I cut you out, babe. Anyways, I am getting ready to go to work. It is a big day for us today. We are launching a new menu today. So it's something that's been in talks since before I existed in the Plantiverse, and mostly because the Buckhead clientele are looking for something a little different than what we're currently offering. Plus it's like, what can the kitchen handle? So there were a lot, I guess, of chats about why they're going in the direction that they are. Really thins out the menu, but then it adds 3 items, like a Chinese chicken salad, a beef and broccoli, which the beef is made out of fable, which is a mushroom. I was like, I thought that was a video game. Anyways, the more you know. But then, what is it? Hello. So Chinese chicken salad, beef and broccoli. What is the third one? Oh, crab fried rice. So crab fried rice is coming on. We are going away from the kimchi fried rice, but we'll still have the truffle fried rice, which is one of my favorites, as well as, to be honest, the kid fried rice is my favorite. And then a couple adjustments to happy hour. So even though I just printed menus like a week and a half ago, I had to print new ones, so that's getting expensive. So I just called August a wash. Like, I've had a lot of great impact. It was crazy because when I was getting ready for work on Monday, I realized like I've only really worked there for 3 weeks in that venue, so I can't really expect much more than the impact that we've already had. I'm just so proud of the team, proud of myself. I'm gonna give myself my kudos too. But yeah, so we are, from what I looked like last night, we finally broke into 80% completed with Opus, which when I started, we were at 63%. Our survey scores from the public have gone up substantially from the past couple months. So it looked like they were always in like the 70s or 80s. Now we're kind of holding strong in the 90s as an average. So very grateful there. So yeah, I'm grateful to see a lot of growth. I think today is one of those days where I'm like glad to like finish this chapter, put it behind us, get the ball rolling on this new menu, and then go into September with like a new mindset of like operating instead of like constantly adjusting. Yeah, I think everything's really working out in a perfect time frame. I just got to remember like not to stress about it, and that was like a promise I made to myself, was like not losing my quality of life. So even today was one of those days where I like wanted to get ready early and like go hit the ground running early, but I realized like no, like you need to work within the parameters of like what you're given, and like it's not on my shoulders to like be the only one that's doing these like things to get us going. I'm about to type out day 359 of the pivot year, and so when I did yesterday it was 358, and then I did the math, and so this means this is 7 days left of the pivot year, which means 1 more week of the pivot year, and then we are into a new theme, I guess. I don't know, this is such a long time coming for me, and yeah, it's just like a crazy thing to think about me doing this project every day for the past 365. Well, past 358, but you know, soon to be 365. And I'm just so grateful for Amanda for getting me this book at a time that, you know, I really needed it. And it brought me a lot of inspiration. And through what I've shared, a lot of people have said it inspired them as well. And I know quite a few people went and got the book, which is kind of great. So yeah, it's just, you know, we're kind of walking into the accumulation of a lot of different chapters closing, or whole books ending, and again, just really grateful. I know that Kai has sent me over the video of the week, which is going to be about It Ends With Us, and I talk about a crazy book to go through. So I haven't seen the movie yet, and I have not read the book, but you know, I've been hip to all the drama that's out in the world surrounding it. So I just want to remind everybody that like if some message is not for you, then that is okay, you know, unless it's actively hurting you or actively hurting our community or someone else. Like, please allow everyone to have their opinion, and you know, just go read something else if it's not for you. So that being said, I am getting ready to head out. I'm going to have to type up this last couple of pivot years real quick just to prep myself for the week. So I'm going to do that. And yeah, then I'll be heading to work to launch this sweet little menu. Luckily it's a Thursday, so it probably won't be too busy. And did I just jinx myself? We'll see soon enough. But I love you. Thank you so much. And thank you for joining me on this journey, all the journeys. And yeah, let's see what we get into this week. Good morning. Really good morning. Anyways, it is the day after our new menu launch. It went so well. And I mostly was just wanting to reflect really quickly on one of the best parts about being in like a healthy work dynamic and like having team members that really support the initiative. Because when I came back, you know, menus were unstuffed, ready to be stuffed per my request. Kevin did an incredible job in the back of house organizing, getting ready for this launch. Like, everything in the back was like labeled to like where everything should be, and then like the first aid kit was hung, and that's a big like thing that I've been stressing for a while. And they just had a bunch of stuff done. So even though Wednesday was a very slow day, they really utilized that time to improve the space. And like those are the little things that like just make this worthwhile for me. Like, again, like I know we're headed in the right direction. I also did my 30-day review because like we're at like performance evaluation season. I've only been there for 30 days, so I just recapped the 30 days, and I was humble in some areas, but I can't express enough how grateful I am for how much work we've done over the past 3.5 weeks. So getting ready to head in. Today's a weird one because I have to go get fingerprinted for like the liquor license that I'm added to. And hey Finn, you wanna say hi to the people? No, you want to sniff the sneaker? Okay, sure. Officially in the final week of the pivot year, which is wild to think about. Yeah, that's all I got. I just really wanted to celebrate my team and like how far it's come so far, and just grateful for what people do when you're not looking. And doing the right thing is like, even if I wasn't there to see it, it's like I'm there to like appreciate it. I don't know. It just was really nice. It made me feel really good that they're doing those kind of things. So love you. Have a beautiful Friday. All right, friends, it is Friday evening. I just wanted to jump on real quick because I am brewing a cup of tea, and you know, it wasn't even that hellish of a shift, let's say. Like, I knew going into it, I was short-staffed on the front. I had one captain and one bartender on a Friday night, and we had one food runner and a concierge, and then myself, and then my two, like I have a manager and a shift lead. So it's like, we can get it all done, but Nailo technically worked the morning shift, so I'm not trying to keep her there all night. And also, like, half the battle is the kitchen. And yeah, I just wanted to shoot the shit with myself for a second, and you know, just kind of remind myself, like, it's these days that really remind me like why I love operations, why I hate operations. There's a lot of things that went on tonight that were shocking to say the least, and I'm still hyped up. I think I drank a coffee way too late in the day, and to be honest, that coffee kicked in like right when Heart of House was like just flopping. And it's just such a hard thing because like even one of my bartenders, because they were waiting like 30 minutes for a sushi roll, they were like, is it gonna be a long time? I was like, I don't know, bro. I can't make it happen any faster. And it's just like, I wanted to almost say like the sushi chef, like, I don't know if I should stop drinking coffee or you should start, because like this cannot continue. And it's like, there are certain issues that just trace back to certain shifts, and like I understand that. It's just like we're not really getting set up for success in the back of house most days. Well, I don't want to say most days, just some days. But oh man, that was, I took a 9 top by myself. I made $160 for those kids. Like yeah, well technically 168 if we want to be real about it. But you know, I have no regrets for how I handled my side of the shift because I saw an opportunity to help them and I did it. Finnegan's complaining because he wants to eat for the 15th time today. But yeah, I just wanted to sit down, shoot the shit with myself before I watch some cutesy TV. I'm gonna watch some of Sabrina Carpenter's like new videos and listen to some of her new album, and drink some of my Chinese restaurant tea, and then get ready to do it all again tomorrow. But that is my timer. So I remember the last time I said I was gonna cut my hair, I never did, and then when I did schedule my appointment, Ashley didn't have air conditioning, so this is the current length of her right now. I'm just putting this in there because I'm going tomorrow, but it is just so funny. It was the mermaid hair that I wanted for the summer, whether I liked it or not. So hello sweet friends, I am just fresh out of the shower, getting ready to go head to see It Ends With Us. So Kai did a movie review and her video of the week for this movie and kind of like the backlash that Blake's been getting. So I'm gonna go see it before I watch her review. I was like kind of debating on what I wanted to do, but I didn't really have anything else going on today. I just wanted to stop by and say this is me before watching It Ends With Us. That's what it's called, right? I know everyone keeps confusing it, like The Last of Us, This Is Us, but I think it's It Ends With Us. I just found it was fitting because like I'm starting to get like notifications and memories from my last couple days at the Bee, which was August 28th, and I'm filming this right now, August 27th, and you know, I just think it's like, obviously it's about closing the chapters of abusive relationships or things that are not aligned with you. Again, I have not read this book. I only know about the movie from all the drama that's been incurred of it. And then I did watch a little bit of Jane the Virgin because people are saying that Justin Baldoni character is in there. And he's kind of cute in that. So I don't know what the big deal is, but I guess we'll see. It's 4:17 right now. The movie starts at 4:45. So yeah, I'm just kind of like finishing some things, getting things in the laundry for the week, and then I'm gonna head to the movies. Hopefully on the way back I can hit Publix or whatever because I haven't had my oat milk in days, but tomorrow we're heading to Nashville to snip this baby. I will see you guys soon. I love you so much. Be good. Take care of yourselves and stay vigilant. What? I don't know what I'm talking about. I love you. Bye. Now it's time to head to the movies with our cinematic crusader. Here with another titanium take, here's our movie Maven Kai.
Well, hey there everybody. It is I, your movie Maven Kai, and I am going to have a little bit more of a serious note on this one. I'm again going to talk about a movie that I have not yet seen, but for a very specific purpose. I am going to put out the trigger warning right now because it's the responsible thing to do. That I'm going to be discussing things that are within the realm of abuse in a lot of different ways, specifically domestic abuse. So if that's something that you are uncomfortable with, or that you simply don't want to hear, instead of getting in the comments and being like, how dare you and why and everything, you can just scroll. I'm sure that Rusty will put a little note that's come back at this time, and we'll go along with that. So Blake Lively has been getting a lot of flack for this movie that she's in. It's called It Ends With Us. And the way that she's promoting it, the way that she's talking about it, its whole plot and meaning behind the film is domestic abuse. So the first thing that I want to touch on is the fact that domestic abuse is not only just violence. It's a big part of it a lot of the time, but you also have physical, emotional, mental, financial. There's a lot of abuses that can happen within, domesticity. And, domestic only really means where you live. So that can be a partner, a significant other, your family, your roommates. You can experience abuse within your home. And it is domestic abuse. There was a point in the press that she said, where are your florals? And everyone was like, how, why? That's so. When you see the movie, and I did some looking into it, she plays a lady who has a floral name that opens a florist. She opens a plant shop. And so she said that in order to be able to show support for those people who have been through this situation, as well as, I believe, the ability to self-identify as someone who has faced something or is facing some form of domestic abuse. And something that people don't understand is that it can be so dangerous to self-identify. Or even commiserate with people in that situation. And being able to show that kind of support and look out and see that kind of support is really, really important for people to be able to escape that, to recognize it, because people hide and they deny when they're going through these things, because we know a lot about the signs of domestic abuse. And, you know, you hear the why don't you just a lot. The why don't you just is the bane of my existence. Why don't you just leave? Why don't you just get out of it? Why don't you just whatever? And there's a million reasons, and each one of them are incredibly personal and specific to the situation. And sometimes it is just not possible, probable, feasible to be able to walk away from something. So not only do you have, you know, shame and fear, and then worry about other people that are in the house, you know, kids, your brothers and sisters. There is a large percentage of people that don't leave domestic abuse situations because they can't take their pet with them, and they worry that that pet is now going to be harmed or unalived if left behind. And that is completely understandable. And so the judgment factor in those situations really needs to come down just a little bit. Denial is a very powerful thing. And if something like this is a way for someone to recognize what is happening and see that they do have support outside of a situation that they have likely been told is inescapable by their abuser, then that is so incredibly powerful and so incredibly necessary. And so I'm very proud of her really putting away about speaking about this movie in the media, during the press junkets, all of that. You know, she's being attacked for being, you know, passive or cutesy, you know, in these interviews. And it's like someone paying too much attention to something like this, speaking out about it, maybe even like reposting or, you know, or saying like, oh, I want to go see that movie. That can be dangerous because abusers know what they're doing when they put you in a situation. And if you are showing signs of trying to break out of it, they are, you know, likely to ramp up the amount of abuse that they are showing. They're likely to ramp up the amount of gaslighting, showing that, you know, you don't deserve better, showing that, you know, you are being crazy, all of that stuff, you know. So being able to kind of do that clandestinely is, I think, responsible and really powerful. Also, imagine being blindsided by this kind of marketing. You know, imagine, you know, you're just watching entertainment news, you know, you're having your coffee in the morning and you get triggered because you think you're watching something lighthearted. It's entertainment news. And you are suddenly shoved into a dark place because no matter how much therapy you have gone through, no matter how much you are removed from the situation, no matter how successful you have been in spite of what you have been through, that kind of revisiting can cause such harm that can last hours to months, you know. And if you're already in that situation, you automatically have that fear of, they saw me looking at it, they saw me, what are they going to say, you know, what kind of, you know, whatever. It's a lot. So I feel like knowing the subject matter of the movie is enough, because you can go look it up on your own. If it's something that you want to see, if it's something that you want to, you know, experience, you can read about it. You can go find the trailer. I've not seen one trailer for this movie until I went to go look for it. And I think that's also very responsible, because we are becoming more aware of, you know, these things happening and people being more loud about it. And I think that is incredible. So when we have stories like this that allow us to, you know, be more critical of the situations that we're dealing with, and perhaps seek out the help that we need in order to escape it, I think that's wonderful. And I feel like it's all very intentional. I've heard the director, Justin Baldoni, I think is his name, speak about that specifically. And he's not gotten nearly the attention that Blake Lively has. And Blake has not said a word. And I respect that. I think that, you know, that shows that she can do things the way that she wants to do them. And as a woman in the entertainment industry, specifically in Hollywood, that's a very brave thing to do, and it's a very difficult thing to do. And if she did not have the status that she does, I don't think that she would be able to do that without being completely canceled, because they're trying. There was an interview that came out in 2016. The interviewer's name was Kirsten Flaws, I believe. And she's like, I nearly quit my job after this interview with Blake Lively. Okay. She congratulated Blake on her little bump. It was for the Woody Allen movie Cafe Society. And she had recently announced that she was pregnant. And the first thing out of her mouth was, congratulations on your little bump. And Blake fired back with, congratulations on your little bump. And Parker Posey started talking about her bumps. And, they tried to make a joke out of it to sort of derail the ridiculousness, because they're there to talk about a movie. They're there to talk about their work. And, the interview immediately wanted to dive into, the personal life. And that's not why they were there to talk. If this was an interview on her family and her marriage and all of that, absolutely. If, that was what was the base of the interview, more power to you, but it wasn't. And so they kind of tried to, put that out there as a lesson without just blatantly saying, hey, we're not here for that. I feel like that was probably the kinder way to go, and the more effective way to go, or it would have been. So, there was discussion of their fashions. It was like the very next thing out of her mouth was, oh, this was, such a great movie. Didn't you love to wear the fashions? Because it's set in the 30s, I believe. And Blake goes, would you ask the men in this movie about the fashions? And, the interviewer goes, well, I would. And so Blake and Parker start going on about, oh, this suit that this, male actor, this, was wearing, oh, wasn't this great and wasn't that great? And they had, a little back and forth to kind of level the playing field on, that question. And the interviewer looked like visibly uncomfortable. And I feel like she should have, come with better questions, come with, actually talking about the work that's done, because that is what you're there to talk about. If you want to talk about the fashions, go and, get an interview with the costumers, with the dressers, with the stylists and the designers, because those are people that often go so overlooked in the industry, and they do incredible work. And the only thing that Blake and Parker did in that movie was wear the clothes. Like, if you want to draw attention to that, go to the source, do the right thing, So that movie came out in 2016. That's when that interview was done. Similar timeline, you have the Avengers. Everyone knows how much I love Marvel, so of course I had to bring this up. Between 2010 and 2021, you had Scarlett Johansson playing Natasha Romanoff. And oftentimes in interviews, you had people starting to talk about, she was pregnant at one point, the skin tight clothes that she had to wear and all of this stuff. And that's what they wanted to focus on. Oh, they changed your hair. How did that feel? And Scarlett was essentially doing the same. She was, moving the conversation from that back to the work that they did. The difference is she had Hemsworth, Ruffalo, any number of the Chris's, any number of, the other castmates standing up for her and essentially doing why are you asking her that question? Why are you, talk about her acting, talk about, all the things. And she was painted as the victim. Oh, they're constantly coming at her for this femininity and oh, isn't it anti-feminist and all of this to wear these things and to do this, rather than talk about, she played a very dynamic character and a very important character in the MCU. So, she was praised for speaking up, but only because she had men in the same room next to her, basically saying the same thing. And I felt like that was just it's misogynistic. It is definitely misogynistic. And this is not a slight towards Scarlett. I love Scarlett Johansson. But if you're only going to support a woman standing up for themselves because a man is behind her, supporting her, you're part of the problem. One of the other things that, really kind of came to mind is that Scarlett is a beautiful woman who is married to a very funny comedian. He's one of the anchors on Weekend Update on SNL. But he's not the sexiest man alive. You know what I mean? Ryan Reynolds is someone who is just like the America's sweetheart at this point, you know, dropping F-bombs at every opportunity. God bless him, you know, and I love Ryan Reynolds. But again, not sexiest man alive, Scarlett Johansson married to. And people tend to have a different attitude towards people they feel they can relate to, and then people that they are jealous of, you know? So with all the attention on Ryan and all the attention on Blake, you see a lot of that jealousy kind of poke through and the competition and all of that, you know, where you go like, well, I can't relate to this because this isn't my life. And therefore, you know, they're doing something and I feel offended and, you know, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, they get a lot of praise for their marriage, their relationship, their parenting styles, all of that stuff. But then when this comes up, you know, there's an issue. I mean, they're seen as a power couple, and they should be, you know, they very much are. But we also forget that celebrities don't owe us anything. And so if you want to dive into those personal issues and they are okay with it, they'll do it. But if they're not, they will make that known, and that's okay too. So it's a very interesting kind of situation. And I know that I'm not going to change anybody's mind, and I'm not here to do that. What I want to do is basically offer up some information and some consideration and some point of view that people can look at, rather than just, you know, jumping on, you know, a train and going, you know, we're going this way. It's very important to understand where a lot of these things come from, and a lot of these attitudes come from. And if you're going to say anything about it, you're more than welcome to your opinion, but please, please, please base that opinion on as much information as you can possibly gather before you just start, like, you know, berating someone for their decisions to do certain things in certain ways. I feel like this was an intentional move by Blake Lively. And if it wasn't, Blake, let me know, like, you know, get at me, DM me, whatever. We'll sit down, we'll have a nice chat. But I really feel that it was, and I feel it was a responsible thing for her to do. And I very much applaud her for that. The other side of things is, you know, don't get offended on behalf of other people, you know, where you sit and go like, oh, these people in this situation must have felt so, you know, upset, you know, by the way that she's just so blasé and everything. It's like, well, you know, consider everything before you start, you know, making decisions for other people and their feelings. So I hope that I get a chance to see this movie soon. It's definitely one that if I don't catch it in theaters, I will catch it on, you know, one of the streaming services, because I think it is something that's very important to see. And I think it's something that's very important to, you know, take in, so that you do understand the different aspects of this incredibly dangerous and very broad-reaching situation as domestic violence, domestic abuse. And I hope that those of you who did stay take all of that in, and maybe you do change your opinion. Maybe you just have a more broad opinion. Maybe you have a better understanding, because, you know, people that have experienced domestic abuse in the past, it is incredibly difficult to talk about, and it's incredibly difficult to put your feelings out there, because you constantly worry about, is that something that I am going to be subjected to again in the future? Is that something that I'm going to be judged for? And you know, well, you're not there now. In your head, you're always going to be there. So drink your water, take your meds, go see a movie, go with your girls, wear your florals.
Good morning. Up before the sun, and getting ready to cover these grays. It is the launch of fall officially on the Dunkin' Donuts calendar. I did not ever film a return from It Ends With Us. Very emotional movie. A lot of like good cut scenes. I like the way that they did the flashbacks, especially with her like high school boyfriend or whatever. Yeah, I thought it was beautifully done. The beginning of it came off a little rocky. Like you could tell it was like kind of hard for them to get that compatibility going. And I think it was kind of nice because like when you think about like when you actually first meet somebody, it's not just like, granted they had good banter from the get, like it's just kind of funny to think about like, yeah, there is that awkward silence. But speaking of silence, when it wasn't silent, they were playing a great soundtrack, like very emotional. I don't want to say the graphic scenes because it wasn't about it being graphic. It was just like what they chose as symbolism. Again, I haven't read the book, but like it was very powerful, like the style of how they utilized like the abuse, and like they did it, I don't want to say in an artsy way, but it was like that, you know, like kind of going back also like to the cuts and the flashbacks and the way she viewed the relationship originally versus the reality. I think that was like such a really smart way they did that. And so like I understand through like the drama of It Ends With Us that like Blake Lively and Justin Baldoni had a lot of like directive differences, and I'd be so interested to see her cut of the movie as well, because like I think they did a great job. I liked the end result. I thought it was a very good movie. I thought it was very well made. It was tasteful despite like a very intense topic, and there was like a lot of themes within that were important to see, and how it affected this man. And yeah, so I suggest everyone sees It Ends With Us as well. I think that's what Kai's gonna say. I don't imagine she would not like the movie. There's definitely like some slow bits in it, but I love also like the best friend, the sister, whatever. It was just like you know, the midst of it, these people chasing their dreams and getting their dreams, and then I don't know, I loved it in a way, as much as you could love a sad movie like that, you know. Does anybody else's hair do this? Like, she's acting very cutesy, very demure, very much like she's not trying to get cut today, but sorry. I just want to take another second to reflect on what Kai talked about today and to really give her flowers, because I'm just so proud of how brave she was. It really touched upon things that we don't think about on a day-to-day basis, and that's that we are riding alongside people that are suffering and you don't even know it. So please be kind to others, and most importantly to yourself. And if you need help, please reach out. Thanks again for stopping by, and we'll see you in the next one. It doesn't look that much shorter, but already sweating out my new hairstyle. But anywho, she cute, she little. My hair is so long. I mean, I do think I'm gonna cut off like about that much, so just wanted to have a little documentation of how long she got before. I wish I was like an ASMR artist, like, but I got a good little run. And you know, it just is fitting. Pardon me, I might sneeze. Okay, now we're good. good morning, good night, whatever.